Artists, today we are going to learn how to draw a koi fish. And when we draw this koi fish, we want our paper to be vertical. And we're going to start towards the bottom of our paper. And it's going to be kind of in the lower right-hand corner, so we're not right in the middle. We're not to the left, we're kind of over to the right. And our koi is going to take up a real big portion of our paper. So the very first thing that we're going to do is we're going to do two kind of curved lines, and this is going to end up being our head of the koi fish. So it's kind of like a long stretched out C, and then we do the same thing here, but we're facing it in the opposite direction. So that's going to be the start of our koi fish's head. And then right over here we're going to start with the mouth. So I'm going to just kind of hook another C shape, but this one is not so stretched out, and again on the opposite side facing the opposite direction. Then we're going to connect these two with a over the hill or rainbow line. You can kind of start to see where the head of our koi fish is going to be. Next, we're going to do 1, 2 curved lines, or I guess you could say smile lines. So 1, 2. And then we are going to completely shade in that area of the mouth to make it look like our koi fish has an open mouth. We need to add two, they kind of look like whiskers on either side of our koi's mouth. So it's almost like a stretched out S curved shape. And then I'm going to just follow the leader. So I'm following that line and tapering it off to a point. And I'm going to do the same on the opposite side. So it's kind of a stretched out S shape. And I am following the leader and tapering it off at a point. Now I'm going to go back in, and I'm not going to connect this line, but I'm going to start right where that backwards little letter C ended. I'm going to extend it just a little bit, and I'm going to do another follow the leader line here, but I am not going all the way across, and this is going to help us make the lip of our koi look a little bit more three-dimensional. Now I'm ready to give my koi one eye, and I want it to be relatively big, and so I'm going to start with a curved line here. And then inside, I'm going to give one large circle that would connect inside there, and then a medium-sized circle, and then I need a small circle and a tiny circle. And then I'm going to leave the small and the tiny circle white to help make it look like our eye is kind of shining. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to fill in that medium-sized circle completely in with black. Now we actually are not going to see the other eye here because we want it to make it look like our fish is a little bit more realistic. So we want to imagine where that eye would be over here, and we're just going to add a little bump to the side of our fish head. Now we're going to work on the top part of the head where it starts connecting to the body of the fish. So I'm going to start with a V shape on both edges of the fish. And then I'm going to connect those with a little bit of a long curved V. I'm going to go back in to the head of my fish. I'm going to do one nice big curved line here above the eye, and then a straight line here, and it's going to help us make it look like that fish head is a little bit more three-dimensional. Then I'm going to go over to the left side of that triangle shape that I made, and I am going to put a large letter C shape connecting. What I need here is a fin, so I'm going to take that top part of the letter C and I'm going to go straight up that way. And then I'm going to take the bottom part of the letter C and I'm going to go down that way. And it's kind of making a really long triangle shape. I'm going to go back in and I'm going to connect the two ends of that triangle with a curved line. Now I need to work on the body of my koi, and I don't want to have a really tiny body with this nice large koi head. I want it to take up a pretty good area of my paper, but I also need to leave some room for a tail fin. So I'm going to start right here where that C shape kind of connected to that side fin, and I'm going to give myself a nice big curved line. Now I'm going to go back into this side fin, and each pointy part of that curved line that I created, I'm going to extend a nice straight line coming down into that C shape of the fin. Now I'm ready over here to do a top fin. So I'm going to start with a large L shape. And when I do that L shape, I'm going to try not to go much further past this area here. So I'm going to do a nice L shape. And then I'm going to connect that L shape with some more of those curved lines. And then I want to connect right here. So I'm going to imagine where that body would connect. This time, we're just going to connect with a straight line, straight across to where those points of our curved lines are. We're going to repeat this C shape over here, but we're going to kind of do it in the opposite direction. Okay, so once again, remember we had two lines coming out. We can even imagine that this line is back here, so you can imagine that that line would end over here. So I'm going to go ahead and do my curved lines and just have them end right behind the fish. And remember that we took those points and extended them right to our letter C shape that we made. And this is going to make it look like that fin is going behind our koi. I'm going to turn my paper a little bit to help, but we are going to imagine where the body line would continue. So if this is my body line, I'm imagining where it would be through here. I'm going to stop and I'm going to pick it up here and continue that curve towards the top of the paper. Then I'm going to connect those two with a curved line. Now we can do the fin, the tail fin, and this is going to go off the edge of our paper. So the very first line that we're going to do is right here, and it's kind of a long curve. And we're going to do another one here, but remember it's going to go off the edge of our paper, and then we're going to have to imagine where it would come back down. Imagine where the center of the tail fin might be, and go ahead and give yourself a V shape. And we are now going to take those curved lines that we've done before, and notice that they get thinner when they get closer to the edge. When you come over here, you're going to have to imagine where the curved lines would start and pick up. And we are now going to, once again, take those curved line points and just connect them to our tail fin line. Remember, you might have to imagine where they go when they're off the edge of our paper. Now we need to give our fish some scales. So we're going to start with some upside down U shapes. When we add our second row, what you want to pay attention to is you want to add your scales to end in the middle of the first set of scales. So instead of repeating those the same way, this one is going to end in the middle, and in the middle, in the middle, in the middle. And then we're going to repeat the process. So our third row ends in the middle, 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 and so on. So we continue all the way up, letting those scales end in the middle of the row that was previous before them. So I'm going to pause and catch up. When you get close to the other fins, just imagine where those scales would start and stop. So I would not want to draw those scales through. I would start and then stop. When you're done with your koi, make sure that in the lower right-hand corner, you write your name. You can either add your class code on the front with your name, or you can put it on the back. And we have just finished drawing a koi fish.